clap.
Yep.
Clappy clap.
Make sure this clap is out of edit, because in the last episode, the clap was in the
I
full
know, I
thing.
kept it in there on purpose. It was cool. That was a better clap than the first one.
2025 has entered the chat.
2020 freaking 5.
We made it! Woo!
And we kind of, like, we mostly survived.
Yeah, just barely.
Just a little bit.
By like the skin of our teeth. So
What does it even mean? By the skin of your teeth? Like, there's no skin on the teeth.
I don't know. It's an expression to mean
Unless
like,
you're not brushing your teeth and there's a coat of like food and like sugar and crap that you just aren't brushing.
or maybe you're just born with literal flesh in your teeth, but it's like at like the microscopic level that you only see it if you graze your teeth against the ground as you're crawling to survive the situation that you're currently
Welcome
in.
back to Munch Chatter, episode
9.
This is episode 9.
Yeah, we're almost at 10.
Almost at 10. 10's gonna be a big one.
We did 8 in 1 year, so we're doing good.
We did pretty good, I think.
Keyword, I think.
I got Coke today. Cherry Coke, 0 sugar, because New Year, no sugar kind of thing. But no, I'm pretty sure this is worse for you.
Is there no sugar in that? There's also this one's sugar free as well. This is
sugar free, yeah.
Ghost Energy.
But there's aspartame, which is arguably worse. But and we got corn nuts. Trying out some corn nuts today. Barbecue, sweetened. Sucralose.
Yep. That's how you know you're gonna die before 40.
Today? What are you munching on?
Well, I said Ghost Energy, 0 sugar
Not
as well.
sponsored,
And then
but open to offers.
And then I picked up a 7-Eleven brownie. It was right at the till, and I had to. It was like $2.50. So
you definitely didn't have a choice.
Yeah, no, I was being held at gunpoint.
Right.
Mentally, that is, but
Yeah, for sure. So Jonathan, what are we doing today?
we are gonna.
You have a plan for this, actually. This was your idea.
Well, the plan isn't like it doesn't necessarily need to be the whole span of the episode, but definitely for a good portion. Since we've entered the new year, I just kind of wanted to go over for a little bit the year 2024, how it was.
Sorry, I think I just ASMR'd the mic.
Did we get any W's or L's last year, and what to look forward to this year? It's not really a themed episode. It's
like
just
Q&A
something.
style this? Like, you have a question for me that you want me to answer? Or?
I don't know if you want. It's like it could go back and forth. We could just talk.
We could.
We can talk about whatever. I don't really care. Like I said, it's like it's a topic
We can talk about
episode.
Skibidi Toilet again.
Let's literally not do that. I will get up and walk away.
We're here at the lighthouse again.
White House,
We've
yes.
chosen a different location, but we are here filming at the lighthouse. For those who are wondering, I should take my hat off. I actually got a haircut because
New year, new you.
new year, new freaking me.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, I want to open with this. I want to tell you a story that actually happened a couple of days ago. We
One day you were born, and then the world was never the same. Anyways, you were saying.
Do you ever think about the things you say?
Nope.
No, I know. Yeah, that's why everything. That's why when you speak on the podcast, it's just absolutely horrendous. And I always skip.
Well,
I always spam the skip 10 seconds button because I'm like, I don't want to.
Says the guy that admitted to listening to my voice to fall asleep.
Okay, that's not true, actually. But
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so a couple of days ago, I had whiskey.
Oh yeah,
First
right.
time. It was like a shot of whiskey. We just yeah. I had a bunch of buddies that invited me over for like one of my buddies, had like arranged like a roast. He like cooked this roast. He made like mashed potatoes, stuffing, and then we all kind of brought our own dishes as well. Like I brought like a salad. A couple other people brought. One guy brought like a whole chicken, things like that. It was just like a meal. They just like invited me over. It was just a bunch of young adults. And yeah, I've never had alcohol with these people before. So, and I knew that they were like not like alcoholics, but they had like dabbled, you know, a little bit in the alcoholic world. But so yeah, so they were like, hey, like we're gonna like we have a bit of whiskey here, like who wants
They're
to
training you to become a functioning
they're
alcoholic.
training
I
me
hope
to
you
become a
realize that.
functioning alcoholic. So now actually I have 3 bottles of whiskey in my no. No, but they were like, yeah, like we were like they were planning to have like pina
A
coladas.
gallon of rum in the trunk.
A gallon of rum in the trunk.
No, anyways, you were
Yeah.
saying.
So they were planning to have like pina coladas later, and they were looking at like what they
Mhm.
had for it, and they pulled out this bottle of whiskey. It was like this pink, I think it's called pink whiskey or Pink Whitney, I think, or something like that. I don't know if you've heard of it. But basically, they pour a shot. There's like 5 of us. They pour like 5 shots. There's only like a little bit left in the bottle, so they had to like kind of split it evenly. So it wasn't a massive shot apparently. I don't know. First time doing it, didn't know what to expect. Down the thing, and yeah, it just burnt a lot.
Yep.
Like it felt like my whole freaking throat was on fire. Like it was like my chest and like my mouth and.
Yep.
But that's not the funny part. That was fine. Whatever. That was chill. The funny part was what followed. So remember how I said that the bottle was empty, like we'd finished the bottle, because there was only a little bit left. It was only enough for like 1 shot each. So what we ended up doing, there was one person who hadn't arrived yet, but they were on their way. So what we did
Oh no.
is we filled the thing with water
Oh no.
to basically like the top almost, put it back in the cupboard, and the prank was one of our buddies. We were like, hey, we need you to like. We're gonna like when this person comes in, we're gonna act out a scene where we dare you to chug the bottle
Oh.
of pink whiskey.
I knew this was coming.
Pink whiskey, and we need you to actually like act like it's whiskey.
Yeah.
And this guy so we did that. So this girl comes in who is late. She comes in and she's like, yeah, like we run the thing. We're like, dude, like, hey, bro, like you should chug the whiskey, right? And so he goes and he grabs the bottle of whiskey and he chugs the thing. And this girl is like, yeah, she like genuinely thought that it was whiskey. But I want to know what her response was. She was basically just like, don't do it. Like it's obviously gonna like she was basically like, yeah, like don't do it. Like it's gonna hurt.
Yep.
You're probably gonna pass out. That's not good. You're going to be like super drunk. But she didn't like do anything to stop him. Like she just like let it happen. She had brought ice cream and she literally had just walked over to the freezer and just put the ice cream in the freezer. And to get to the freezer, like the freezer was here, she was here, and the guy drinking this whiskey was here. So she just like walks past him and puts the ice cream in the freezer as all this is happening. So she just does not care, really. At least it doesn't seem like it.
Wait, so she knows that he's about to.
No, he's actively doing it as she walks over.
And then she's just like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we obviously told her, like, obviously we didn't do that. And then after we were like, so why didn't you do anything to stop her? Like, stop him? And she was like, yeah, like, well, I'm not gonna, like, he's his own man. Like, he can make his own decisions. Like, it's whatever. I'm like, dude, that decision probably could have killed him. Like, bro. Like, I'm sorry. But, yeah. Anyways. That was pretty funny, dude. I was like, that was pretty good.
One of my buddies, like, well over a year ago now, like a year and a half ago almost.
Yeah.
Because there was a bunch of us that were all hanging out at like one of our friends' house. And so we went out for dinner, and then the other guy calls us and he's like, where are you guys at? We're like, we're in Richmond, like eating ramen and stuff, but we're gonna head back to the house, so we'll just see you there in like 30 minutes, whatever. So we get back there and we get in the house and we see him with this big bottle of, I think it was whiskey as well.
Yeah.
And what he did is, instead of chugging the whole thing with water being in it, he drank 2/3 of the real whiskey in one sitting over the course of like an hour and a half, with no food in his system, to my knowledge.
Dude.
And he was just drinking it straight from the bottle, like sip after sip. Like 2/3 of the entire bottle was gone. And then I go to the bathroom and I come out and I'm about to go home and I see basically what happened is he threw up on their front porch.
Yep.
Just a giant
Yep.
pile of vomit. And so one of my friends at the time, he still had his truck that he bought. He sold it now, but basically what they did is they took the mattress in the living room that usually like I would sleep on if I'm sleeping over at their house. They took that mattress, they opened the bed of the truck, and he literally just slept in the bed of the truck overnight.
Wow.
Still the giant pile of vomit on the porch. I'm like, you just drank that 2/3 of it in one sitting. And what did you think was going to happen?
Dude, that is nuts.
It's completely
Yeah, like
ridiculous.
that's just like, yeah, and that's the thing about like for me, like, I don't.
He's his own man. He can make a decision. I'm sorry, that's just way too good.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, you could if you want to like kill yourself. That's fine. Like, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. But like, it's true though. Like, if you drink that much alcohol, like, that's pretty dangerous.
You go to the bridge and you see someone about to jump,
No,
and
that's
all the
not-
cops are like, stop. You're like, he's a grown man. He'll make his own decisions.
The negotiator who comes to like try and get him to stop. Yeah.
You shouldn't do this, but it would make a really epic TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Wild.
sorry, we shouldn't joke about this.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was gonna say that, like, for me, like, I would never drink like that. You know what I mean?
Well, here's an example. So, for New Year's Eve, I was on the island with some friends, and the plan was to go bowling and then like eat dinner and then just stay up late, have some drinks, and then go to bed. We didn't do it in that order. We went bowling for 6 o'clock, and then we had a giant plate of nachos, and we were like, okay, so I guess that's our dinner. But here's the thing: we had planned in advance that we were going to make tacos that night. Problem was, we had a whole thing of nachos and we weren't hungry. So we go back to the house and we play a board game. And that's when we start to have like some drinks that we bought. So we bought like whiskey. We bought a bottle of have you ever heard of Fireball?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's whiskey. I should know this, but I just forgot. It's like cinnamon flavored whiskey.
Yeah.
Pretty strong. Then we bought a thing of Crown Royal, which is also whiskey. And then Ciroc, which is like a watermelon vodka. There was no chugging, don't you worry. But what we did is we took like the Fireball and whatever, poured a small portion into a cup, and then we just filled the rest of the cup with like Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah. Okay.
It's super tasty, right? Coke and rum, whiskey, Pepsi, just really good.
I've heard Coke and rum's pretty good.
And so we're drinking and we're playing, and then the countdown happens at New Year's. Fireworks go off. 12:30, we make tacos, and because I hadn't eaten for like 6 hours, I was really hungry. Maybe the alcohol had some play into it because it just kind of like makes your stomach void of any like food or whatever. I'm not really sure how it works, but yeah. So, suffice it to say, I ate 10 tacos in one sitting.
Wow. How big are the tacos?
Not that big. Like they were just like the normal hard shells. Some of them were like thinner than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, we bought 2.6 kilograms of ground beef. Only used one packet. There was so much.
Wow.
Like there were a ton of leftovers.
Yeah, that's a lot of ground beef.
We had a bunch of toppings as well. I don't know. It was fun.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, my New Year's Eve, we I have a friend, shout out, you know who you are. She had put on like a New Year's party. Basically invited a bunch of our young adults from our church and young adults from another group I hang out with from Burnaby. Yeah, basically just like in her house, just like we just all hung out. It was a pretty big group of us. There was like probably like 30 of us.
30?
Yeah, it was a pretty big group. Maybe a little bit less than 30, maybe like 20, but it's still pretty big. We just all hung out. We all brought like food, like appetizers. Did the countdown. We had wine, sparkling wine. Like on the countdown. So yeah, it was good. It was good. But one of the cool things is last year, the same kind of group had a Christmas. We had a Christmas party last year, and we had done a roast. There was a group of us that was doing like a roast battle. So basically, it was me and two other guys that had done it against two other girls. Okay, so the three of us against these two girls. And yeah, we had just said, I don't know what actually fueled it during the Christmas party, but we were like, at some point we made a decision, we're gonna roast the crap out of each other. So we literally like we'd like split off and we went and made our roast.
I'm gonna be honest. When you first said roast, I thought you were talking about like
Oh no,
like a giant feast, like
no,
like you guys cooked up a turkey or something, like
no, like a rap, like a diss track.
Yeah.
Like a diss track. So me and our boys, we put together some stuff, got like a beat and stuff online, and we like rapped this like this diss track against these two girls.
Yep.
And then they did it back, and we had like 3 judges, and the judges had decided that the girls won. So, this year, we were like, we have to get him back again, and we weren't able to do it at a Christmas party because some of us were not at the Christmas party.
Yep.
But we were like, well, New Year's Eve, we're all gonna be there. Let's do New Year's Eve. So we did, and we won. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, he won.
Yeah, and really it was like it honestly, I think it kind of tops the Kendrick and Drake drama, really. I mean, if you were there, you would have seen what I mean. It was pretty good. There was one of our we ended up recruiting one more guy to help us. It ended up being he was like really good at rapping. Like he could become a rapper was what I was thinking by the end of it. But he carried heavily, but actually I carried as well.
He carried and you carried? How does that work?
He carried more than I did, but me and him, the judges.
So wait, how many people per team was it?
There was actually 4v2 this year. Me and 4 of us versus the 2 girls. But like that's the girls' fault, man.
I was about to say it doesn't sound like a fair fight, but like that's on them for not winning.
Part of the game, dog.
Exactly.
Next year though. Next year we'll do it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we should talk about our year. Like what was the year like? How are we feeling heading into 2025?
Well, let's okay.
You have some direction probably. I want to hear from you.
Well, I just want to rewind the clock to last February. So we started this podcast 11 months ago, but the idea was well over a year ago, right? Because it took us a couple of months to actually get started.
We'd sat on this
for reference, go watch episode 1.
we did sit on this idea for a bit, and then I don't think it was till February that we really were like, okay, let's get this done.
But one thing about the podcast as well is I think that just got us to just see each other more.
Yeah.
Right? Because beforehand, like I remember, I think like from, I don't know, I want to say like from COVID to like a year and a half ago, I probably didn't see you in person one time.
No.
It's very possible, like a good 3 to 4 years, I didn't see you in person.
A bit at like Derek's youth group and like games night, but
yeah, probably. And then I was just like, oh, it's Cole. I haven't seen him in like
and we would always
6
hang out.
months.
We'd always talk. We'd always hang out whenever we saw each other. About
and then I think what happened. Oh no, it was the young adult story. For reference, see episode 1. But yeah, so from there, and then the idea came up.
Yeah, it was young adults, and you help me get my bike home.
Yeah,
and that's where it started. Yeah,
that's where it started.
That's crazy, actually.
And then fast forward 2 months later, we actually decided to record the first episode, and I can't tell you like words don't describe the amount of thrill I had just doing the first episode alone. Because I look back on it now, I'm like, some of it was kind of cringe, maybe, right?
Was bad, yeah.
Because the rhythm was super off, but that was the fun part about it, is we didn't have a plan, we just went. Because I was actually afraid of like, if we have no plan, this whole thing's gonna fall apart.
Yeah, we're screwed.
And it actually went pretty okay.
It did, yeah.
And so from that point on, I was just like, how seriously do we take the podcast? How far do we want to bring this? Well, we're 11 months in, 9 episodes in at this rate.
Yeah, and we're enjoying
And
it.
I've had a lot of fun, like every
Me
step of the
too.
way, right? We've had some technical difficulties, but I feel like that just kind of makes the story better.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Um, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, so but yeah, and then I guess just like I want to do a recap of 2024, but there's no short way of saying it.
Well, we could yeah,
But I guess like
like top five,
top 5 what?
like top five kind of moments of 2024.
Oh boy. Well, definitely podcast is in there. Like that just goes in naturally.
Right.
Um, and we've also come a long way. Like we started with one mic.
We did start. That was insane. Yeah.
It was this mic, right?
It was that mic.
This mic, the one that I have, the one that I bought off you was your old one, and the setup. Because I look back at it now, I'm like, the first 4 episodes,
Dude, yeah.
you could
were
hear me enough.
It wasn't as good though.
It wasn't as good as it is now because my voice is a lot clearer now.
It's very crisp now. Yeah.
Yeah. So first thing, podcast started last year, and quality just got infinitely better over time. The lighting changed. You moved stuff around your room. You brought your mattress to the landfill, which was funny.
Yeah.
So that was one good moment. It's another one. Oh yeah, I applied for school, tried to get something going, and I got put on a wait list for BCIT, which is good, but like there's just no definitive answer. Like I'm in the program, that's
Yeah.
fine. There's just no definitive answer on when I'm starting, which is why I'm in limbo. Which is also why I'm tempted to go to PLBC, but that's a different topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Summer was boring until Nelson happened. Nelson was peak. Like that whole week was just peak. So that was a good moment. I don't know. Like those are
Yeah.
3 moments right there. What about you? What are, say 3 good moments for you?
3 good moments.
If you can think of more, go ahead. I just only thought of 3.
No, for sure. Well, I'd say at the top is probably going to be Rwanda.
Mm-hmm.
Like 100% would be my time in Rwanda. I mean, Rwanda was such a soul shaping experience. Like I feel like after I came back from Rwanda, things just got like infinitely better. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just felt more energized. It was such an energizing trip. I mean, eye opening. I think it also just inspired me a lot.
You
just
were
in
there
my
for a
I was
decent
only
amount
there
of
for like
time.
2.5 weeks, yeah. But it really like inspired my faith and like really like just gave me, I think, more motivation and more excitement to just really dive into like my faith life and to just really learn more about like who God is and who Jesus' character is. But even like I would say just with ministry, like with drop in, like I never, like I'd been sitting on that idea of starting a drop in for almost a year, almost 2 years actually. And it wasn't until I came back from Rwanda that I said I'm gonna actually start this. And then ever since that, like things have just gone exponentially better. I'd say the second thing, I think it probably will be, even though this was later in the year, but I think our new pastor
Mm-hmm.
starting, I didn't realize just how important and how valuable that would be for like a church community. And actually I didn't realize how much that would actually do for our church community now and how much good it would do to have someone like literally lead our church. That's the role of a pastor, right? Is to shepherd and to guide a community of believers. And so I think to have that back and to have someone who's like exceptional at what he does and is super motivating, that has been a really, really big moment. And then the third moment would probably be podcast. I think honestly the prayer episode was I really, really enjoyed doing the prayer episode.
That one's our longest one yet.
That one's our longest one yet.
Unless we top it tonight, but I'm not sure.
I don't know if we will top it tonight, but that one was our longest one yet.
And it was the one
doing
where
something intentional with the platform that we have, even though it's not a huge, like we don't get a ton of views, but it doesn't really matter, right? But
But this is for the fun of it.
For the fun
Right.
of it.
But
Yeah.
we also because I realize the audience that we have,
There is an audience though.
like it's
on.
just people we know
Yeah, yeah.
for the most part.
Well, I want to shout out Caleb Kurdachi if you're watching, buddy. I hope he just. He might not actually like the name drop. I might ask him before I upload this, but
You can bleep it out.
I might bleep. Well, I'll probably just be like, yo, like, can I name drop you? But shout out my boy. If you're working out right now, just keep getting those gains. For context, one of our viewers, there's a guy who I know through just some different circles, and he was like, yeah, like, bro, like, I listen to your podcast, man. And he's like, yeah, like, I listen to it when I like work out at the gym and stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's amazing. So had to give my boy a shout out. But yeah, like I would say the prayer episode was a really, really, like, I was really proud of that. It was a good episode. So yeah.
That one was good because it was our first like focus theme episode. Or rather, yeah, the whole episode was focused on just one thing, but we did some like we jotted down a whole bunch of ideas prior, and it was a topic that like it was your idea, but when I started doing sort of more deep diving on what prayer means, and I just did more research on the topic, I was just like, okay, there's more to this than I realized. So it was really fun to talk about that. And yeah, like we went on some tangents in the episode, but that's inevitable with us.
No, that's how, yeah.
This is kind of how this thing works. Okay, but interesting though, because your top three, you ranked them in order. I'm trying to think of what my order would be. Honestly, trying to think like my in third place. What did I say again? I said podcast.
You said Nelson Trip, I think.
Nelson Trip for sure. Oh boy, now I don't know how I want to rate this. Well, okay, I know what's going in first place. That's
What?
for sure. In first place.
What's in first place?
First place, I didn't say this yet, but I'll say it now. And I don't know how I'm going to word this, but in first place, quite literally, is the year-long journey in faith growing.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Because prior to last year, I was actually on the tipping point of renouncing my faith, which is, I don't think I've really told this at all. Actually, that's not true. I did. Oh, that was something else that happened. I forgot. I did my testimony a month ago for the Advent season at church. And actually in the testimony, I said I was close, like I guess 2 years ago now, almost. I was close to ditching the faith because I didn't think that there was real evidence behind what
Right,
we believed,
yeah.
right? I just didn't think there was good reason to suspect anything. And then just a bunch of stuff happened
That's
in the
crazy.
second part of the year, mainly like towards the fall and Christmas time. And then last year I just said, no more playing games with God. Let me go see if you're the real deal. And the entirety of last year was just me asking questions, was me looking stuff up, hearing other people, quite literally just paying more attention in church sermons, praying about it, intellectually having debates with myself to see if there's good reason for me to continue my faith, right? So it's just like, I definitely think that aspect of last year has shaped me into who I am today, right? And you can say like, okay, well that was my will to pursue the phrase. It's like it was my will to go after him and to go see how true God is, but there's no way it would have happened unless there wasn't some Holy Spirit drive within. Like there's no other way to explain it.
Yeah.
So I think that would be first place. Second and third, that's tough. That it's a coin toss between Nelson
Yeah.
and the podcast.
No, that's fair.
I'd probably rank podcast second, Nelson third.
Right.
Nelson was just like a week away from work, 8 hours east of here. The Kootenays are beautiful. The entire, like I said, Highway 3 is a beautiful trip.
Oh yeah.
I want to go on there now because there's snow apparently. So I want to see how well my tires would do.
Tell me that. No.
Actually, I
long?
want to hit up the Coquihalla.
How long? How far
From
away
here to
is it?
Nelson? Or from where to where?
From here to the Coquihalla. It's like an hour and a half, right?
From
2
here,
hours.
no, we could get Hope at from here to Hope at 1 hour, and the Coquihalla is like right there. So we'd get to the highway in an hour, but then there's like a bunch more to drive. Because usually there's a lot of
Let's go.
snow. Right now? Okay, guys, see you next episode. No.
Yeah. Dude, we filmed the rest of the episode in the Coquihalla.
Want to vlog the rest of the episode?
No.
Highway driving? No.
We low-key could, though.
We could. Or we just do a vlogging episode in itself. On the Coquihalla.
Well, we'll talk more about the future, actually, in a bit. But finish your thought.
What?
Were you gonna? Did you have anything else to say about top 3 here?
No, that's probably it. The only other thing I'd add is, well, I guess I already mentioned school, so there's that. Oh yes. So about school. So once again, I'm waitlisted. There's no direct confirmation, but I'm almost at the point where I don't want to go to BCIT this year. I want to go to BCIT next fall because PLBC.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, like what course would you like recommend that I take for like a
For
year
a
of
1 year program.
like
they
a
have
1 year foundation program?
I don't know if they're still doing it. I think they are, but they have a program there called Life Launch.
Right. You talked about that.
And that's a pretty good one because, yeah, basically, it's like a foundational course for young people who are coming out of. I mean, for you, you aren't coming out of high school necessarily, but you can still do it. But that's like a base.
What are the odds that I'm like the
program.
oldest one in the class?
Probably not that likely. Like there'd probably be people older. Yeah. Yeah, I mean for me I think this year too, like it has been a foundational year. I would say it started off pretty rocky.
Hmm.
In the sense of just like I was kind of coming out of life teams, which is the program I did. Hold on. I have something in my throat. Coming out of life teams.
Feel better.
No, I don't.
See, this
Wow.
is where water is better
My
than Coke.
gosh. Yeah. Sorry about that, podcast. Sorry about that, Munch and Chatters. Is that gonna catch on, you think? Or anyways,
Munch and Chatters.
what do you think we call our viewers? The Chatters or the Munchers? We're the Munchers.
They're the listeners.
All right, listeners. Or watchers if you're watching video.
I was
But
gonna
okay.
say viewers, but that's pretty basic.
So, yeah, like coming into 2024, I was feeling pretty like I wasn't sure if like I actually was thinking about leaving my church for a while. I don't know if you know that,
No, I don't think I did.
but I was considering leaving my church. Just because like I don't know, I had a lot of problems with some of the things that we were doing, and I still do. But I think I was kind of feeling like I just don't want to work. Like I kind of like I almost want to like give up on the church just because I'm very frustrated with some of the things that are happening. And so I was pretty like I was exploring some other churches, and I was thinking about I was very much thinking about like leaving. But it just kept like the Lord just kept roping me back into the church through like the drop-in idea, through different ministries, through just different invitations from people to do different things within the church community. So it very much felt like he was asking me to stay. And sure enough, here we are now in November. A new pastor started, and I'm 100% like I love my church a lot. Like I'd have no intention of leaving.
Wait, how long has the new pastor been here?
He's only been here for I think 2 months now, 3 months.
Okay.
No, 2 months.
I don't know why. In the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, he's been here since last summer, but
No, he's only been here for 2 months. But okay, so yeah, so basically, yeah, and then, but and within all that too, I was working at Starbucks,
Oh, right.
And that was
The
an
infamous
era.
Starbucks lower.
And yeah, that was an era. I enjoyed it for a period. But there were certain aspects of it that I really couldn't handle.
How long were you there?
I think I was at Starbucks for about a year, like total, maybe over a year. Um, but yeah, if I'm being honest, like just the way that it was being run, um, didn't even have problems with many of my coworkers. I think there were some coworkers that I was like, I don't know if you are like there was kind of like a culture of like this is work and we just have to get through it kind of thing. And this is work and let's just not care about our work. Let's just get through the shift and then we can go home. That was kind of the culture that I was like feeling that I was being submersed in. Um, but when coming into the job, I was very much like, no, I want to like serve coffee to people and have conversations and like use this as an opportunity to like love and like care for the people in our community through coffee, which was supposedly is supposed to be the Starbucks mission, yet I didn't feel that it was being withheld by any of our coworkers or any of our management. So I was like, yeah, this is just a sham. I'm not gonna do this. Like whatever. Um, so that's why I left. And then I went to Rwanda in the summer. Then I came back. I started at Mountain West. Probably one of the best jobs I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the best jobs I'll ever have. Like that was an incredible job. And I've worked in my church before and I've loved it. But working at Mountain West was just like it's aimless. You don't have to worry about anything. You just show up, you package, you leave, you go home. Don't have to think about it at all. You can just worry about whatever. Ministry's different because you're thinking about the things that you're doing because you're fully planning stuff. You're responsible for a lot more when you're doing ministry. So I love ministry. I feel called to it, but it is arguably a lot more work than working in a packaging department. Maybe not a lot more work, but I think it carries over into your personal life a lot more. At least in my experience. I don't know. But anyways, so but through all of that, like there was periods where like my faith would very much lines up with like the way my life was going. So for instance, beginning of the year when I was considering leaving my church and the Starbucks job, feeling very demotivated, not feeling very strong in my faith, things like that. Which actually this was my next point as well with the church thing. And it's interesting because I know someone who actually I think has stepped away from our church, who I know is very frustrated with the way that our church has been doing things. But here's the thing. If you, let's say something's wrong with your car and you're frustrated about it, what do?
You go get it fixed.
Go
Or
get it
you
fixed.
go to someone who could fix it.
You go to someone who could fix it, but you know your thing, you know things about cars pretty well, so you'd probably try and do something about it as well, right? The point is you're taking action to do something about it, right? The issue is, I think this person who had kind of stepped away from our community, I don't know if they actually did much about it. I think maybe they tried to, but they probably, like, it doesn't seem like they did it in a very healthy way. They also didn't really, like, talk about any of these things. But for me, a lot of these things that I have been frustrated with, I've been actively communicating with our youth pastor, our elders, all these different people. And I feel like I'm just being very honest. I'm like, yeah, like this is an issue I see. And then taking steps to try and like do something about it, right? Because I think it's even Paul. He says something about how like if you see an area that is like it's almost like the commandment where it says do not it's kind of like a do not lie thing. And hear me out for a second, because I think lying is a lot more than just not saying something. It's also something lying is literally not saying something, right? It's the idea of like not saying something that is true. So I think, and I wonder,
well, lying is intentionally saying the opposite of truth
or keeping truth away.
That's lying by omission. Is that really considered lying though?
Well, let me throw a scenario out.
Or I guess that's more just omission, but
okay. If you see something,
I'm not arguing
no,
against that
no,
point,
I know,
but I'm just
I know.
like a textbook definition.
No, for sure. Let me throw this out though. let's say, for instance, you see that there is a problem with something, right? Let's say, for instance, well, let's use your car as an example, right? So if there's a problem with your car, right, you probably you aren't gonna just choose to ignore it. If you just go in your car, you say, "Oh, nothing's wrong with my car, it's fine," and you just keep driving, but you have very clearly the week before you saw that there was something wrong with your car.
Yeah.
You're kind of lying to yourself almost.
You're just trying to gaslight yourself
and that's
out
exactly
of
it. And so that's what I wonder. Like, if I see something and within our church community that is very visibly there's something wrong, or there's a gap, or there's something that I feel like should be addressed, but I just don't say anything about it. I think there's scriptures that might say that that's a lie. I don't have the exact wording. I know there's some things that Paul says about like, yeah, it is like you're being dishonest when you just don't mention those things, or you don't.
Well, it's the same way that like I don't know if there's scripture to back this up, but I saw this like one video of it. It was like a Christian Instagram like content creator, and what he did is it was like just him, but he was playing like multiple characters. Like a bunch of people do that, and he played out a scene, or he played out a scenario where imagine if you very much were saved by Christ and you had faith in him, and you told your buddy that it's okay, don't worry about these judgmental Christians, keep living your life, you're a good person. That person dies and gets rejected right in front of God. And like that was basically the scenario that played out. And then basically what happened is that person, I don't know if that person died or was like about to die, but Jesus basically appeared in front of that Christian and said, his blood is on your hands. In other words, you hid the truth from him when you knew very well it could have saved him. And so it's kind of the same thing. Like if you see something's wrong with the church and you say nothing, you may not be lying by telling a mistruth.
Yes.
But you are very much suppressing it and keeping it to yourself. You're by not saying anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So anyways, my point of all this is to say, I wanted to try and say something about it, and so I said something about it. But I think most often, like in churches, people have all these problems, and what ends up happening is it turns into gossip. They gossip with their buddies, with other people in the church.
That's also rebuked in the Bible as well.
All of a sudden, like a whole bunch of people within the church community are also thinking about it, and they're doubting. I'm guilty of this as well. I did this. I still do sometimes. But I very much have had to like catch myself and be like, look, that's not actually the way to respond to this.
Oh yeah.
The way of responding to this is by communicating these things to the leaders of our church and be like, hey, this is how I'm feeling right now. How can we talk about this? I have questions, right? And just to be humble about like if there's an answer that is genuine, like okay, I don't understand right now, but I will a couple months later. And I did. Like
I've had friendships in the past where something was clearly wrong with how the other person was treating me, or something was wrong with just the flow of our friendship.
Interesting. Okay.
And I had to be honest with myself and say, like, I would still see that person on occasion, and I had to ask myself, do I enjoy seeing this person, or do I see them because I've known them for so long and this is a habit? And after some time, it came to an end because I was being honest with myself. I had to walk away.
And two, though, even with that friendship, though, if you wanted to stay being friends with that person, but you never said anything about the way that he was treating you, right? Like let's say I'm doing something to you that you're just pissed by. Like I'm just pissing in your Cheerios. Like it's just like I'm just doing like the crappiest thing to you. You're super upset. But we continue to hang out, we continue to record these podcast episodes, but you don't say anything about it, but you're upset, you're mad, there's this bitterness in you. All of a sudden what ends up happening is you might start treating me poorly because you there's something I'm doing that you dislike. But then let's say I ask you, hey, like is everything okay? Like you've been treating me kind of poorly these last couple months, and you're like, no, everything's fine.
I just lied to you.
You just lied to me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like that too, right? Like if something's wrong with your relationship with someone, like it is much better to talk about it. You need to talk about it, and you need to ask for the forgiveness if there's moments where you need to ask for it. And because I think the enemy uses that very quickly. He will take hold of that. Like he can take the smallest seed of bitterness and he can turn that into an apple tree. right? Like it's not good.
A tree of bad fruit.
A tree of apples are good. In this scenario, it would be something like freaking broccoli or something.
Eggplant.
Like eggplant tree or something like. Yeah. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent, but I think this year really taught me like, one, like you need to have patience, and two, like communicate. Talk to your friends, talk to your people. Don't be afraid to, I say, be yourself, like a very progressive person. But honestly, like, don't be afraid to be the person that you are and that God has made you to be. So, I don't know, it was a bit too deep, but
Oh, no, that's fine.
yeah.
That's
No,
how
it's
this
like-
works. We start goofy and we go into something deep. This
So
is
you
the
guys want to talk
flow.
about skibbity? No. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think with last year too,
We are at 45 minutes, but you can keep this brief.
okay, so I'm gonna talk for half an hour more.
We can always come back as well. We can hear your side of the things.
I don't know. It wasn't supposed to be a topic episode, but I'm realizing now, like, oh, I guess, okay, we've talked a lot about last year. I guess maybe after break, we'll go into some of more what we want to see next year.
Yeah.
Also, maybe stuff that's going on, because there's a couple things happening in my life right now that I'd like to share, and I'd also like to have that be pursued more this year. But yeah, no, last year was not perfect by any means, but it definitely, like, my eyes were opened in many different areas of my life.
Too, yeah.
And I think, I don't know, it's really suffice it to say God changed me.
God changed, yeah.
God changed me, and he's changing me now.
Yeah.
And he'll be changing me for
I think
as long as I live.
it was very much a year of transformation for the both of us. Yeah.
And this podcast was actually a big part of
I think
it,
is a part
because
of it.
the very fact that we're sharing this with ourselves and to other people, I think it's a way of us.
It's a way of really intentionally like processing things, but also like we've taken moments to really learn more about faith, I think, through this.
Like, we're
Like
the
amount of-
camera is capturing
Yeah, that's actually
like
crazy.
parts of
The
our
year-
lives,
the
like
year of
over the year,
transformation, yeah.
caught partially on
Because we've
camera.
almost had, if we think about it, we've almost had episodes per month. Almost. That's not necessarily true, because we had a couple in February, but like 12 months, we've had almost 10 episodes. It's our 9th episode.
Yeah.
Technically. Anyways, but yeah, so
Well, there were some periods where we would record an episode, post it 3 months later. Like, I remember this happened. We made an episode, didn't post it for 3 months, and then we didn't record for 3 months, and then we recorded 2 episodes, and we posted them within the same week, something like that, I think.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we gotta be more intentional about that.
Well, it's just our schedule's inconsistent, but
we
I
need to
guess,
be more consistent with our schedule. But
like, I mean, an episode per month would be nice. We've definitely not kept to that commitment. We apologize sincerely.
cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's take a break.
All right, well, we're gonna take a break, and we'll see you guys back in a second. All right, welcome back. We are done our intermission. We have new drink. He went down to 7-Eleven because he wanted water, and I told him to surprise me with a drink because he asked me if I wanted a drink. I'm like, sure, surprise me. And you want to know what the guy got me? Freaking Sunny D. What were you thinking? Just out of curiosity, what was your thought process? Just tell me.
Oh, I had no thought process. So I literally went up to, like, the fridges, whatever, and I'm like, okay, energy drink probably not needed because that has caffeine. And then I was looking at all these, like, other drinks. Like, I saw a drink, I think it was 7-Eleven, like, exclusive or, like, made or whatever, and it was, like, kale and cucumber. I'm like, that's just disgusting. And then I saw Sunny D. I'm like, who doesn't like orange juice? And then I see the red one, and I'm like, even better, orange and strawberry. What are your thoughts?
It's really sweet. Like, very, very sweet.
Like too sweet, or
Sugar. just sugar in a bottle, really. Like
Fair. Yeah, I was gonna say what are the
29 grams of sugar. Wow.
I didn't even look. I just grabbed the bottle and hoped for the best.
340 milligrams of sodium. So, anyways, I'm gonna have diabetes by the end of this podcast. Entering 2025 with diabetes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What? What's wrong? Was there a fly in the room, or? Oh, for real? Is he building a web right by you?
Guy. It was like this tiny. I think he bit me. Which means
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. No, seriously though.
what was I saying? Yeah, so we're back. We're here to talk about 2025, I think, is going to be what we're going to talk about for this last segment.
We went a great deal over last year.
Sorry?
Just said we went over last year
Oh.
like pretty well.
Yes.
What would you rate last year out of 10?
I would probably give it 2024. I would say it would have been I guess in comparison to other years, probably an 8.
I see.
8.5.
See, I want to give it a high mark simply because of spiritual journey. But to be honest, a good portion of the year is pretty boring because, like, especially in like the last like 3 months of the year, I, for the most part, just stayed home.
Yeah.
Didn't go out. I didn't do like, okay, I have a sense of adventure that is yet to unfold more the older I get. So I love road trips. I love driving places. That's why Nelson was like peak, best part of the whole summer. I did a couple road trips with another friend of mine. Like we literally, this is going to sound stupid for most people, but keep in mind that sense of adventure. We drove to Penticton and back in the same day. Purely because we felt like it.
Penticton.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's 4 hours from here.
Yeah.
Purely because we felt like it. And the reason, and it wasn't with the friend group that I used to drive with. Like that's basically been shot through the ringer because either A, one of them is like on the island, and then the other guy has either no money or just has no will to do it anymore. But I have another friend of mine who we kind of share that same sense of adventure and sense of just driving. Yeah.
I have family in Kamloops.
What, you want to do a weekend trip to Kamloops?
Be sweet. We could do that one day.
Well, I do want to drive on the Coquihalla just to see how bad the snow is. Because I have snow tires. I legally am fine to go, and I have enough tread on the front tires. I'll be fine.
Dude, that'd be kind of heat.
When would we do it, though? Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, what would I rate the year?
February, like first weekend of February.
First weekend?
Second weekend. No, I can't do that second weekend.
The second weekend is Winnipeg.
Is it actually?
I think so. Or no. No, that's the third weekend. I'm getting that mixed up.
Oh shoot. Did I double book?
What do you mean?
I might have double booked.
Cole, what did you do?
I paid for a retreat that I'm going on in February.
Is it the weekend of the 15th? Cole, what have you done? Because you booked our flights, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we'll get back to that later.
Your phone?
I do. Why?
Can I look at a calendar?
Yep.
No, I think
Hold on. I'm gonna answer.
I'm okay.
I'm gonna answer the question in a sec, but first we need to see if. Okay, so that's February right there.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which weekend did you book the retreat?
Pretty sure it's the 7th. To the 10th,
Oh, okay, then you're fine.
or the 7th to the 9th. I'm pretty sure it's 7 to 9.
Anyways, What, you want to see more? Okay. Anyways,
I just like the way your phone feels. No.
it has a
Yeah.
good
Okay.
screen
So
protector.
so what were you saying? Sorry.
Okay, so what was I gonna say? So yeah. So what would I rate it out of 10? Well, I don't know. Like I mentioned that like the top 3 moments of last year was good, spiritual journey, yada yada. Kind of dull for like the last few months. Oh, I forgot to mention I went to Quebec for like a
I
few
wanna go to
days.
Quebec.
Yeah. We should just sprint to Quebec. Just like sprint there. Get there in like, a
Well,
month.
here's the thing. There's 2 reasons why. One,
Well, hold on. Hold that thought. So I think
because yeah.
all in all, I would probably give 2024 like a 7 out of 10.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, I don't know.
Like, what was a 10 out of 10 year for you?
I don't think I've ever had one.
So then, are you doing subjective to what you would hope, or
I guess
subjective to the best year you've had? Like, what's the best year you've ever had? That's your 10 year.
I don't know. Like, I want to say 2023, and there's a lot of reasons behind it which I don't feel like getting into. Okay, you know what? And now that I think of it, 7 feels kind of low.
You could do like a 7.7.
Give it like a 7.75 out of 10 for last year because
I mean, 7.75000000 times 50
right, because that makes a giant difference.
does mathematically, yes.
No, but anyways.
You're looking at. Have you ever seen Good Will Hunting?
No. But I want to though. I was gonna watch it a while ago and I just
Dude.
forgot.
What are you even doing with your life?
That's what I mean. This is my point. I didn't do much with like the last few months of the year. A lot like I did some road trips last year for fun. I went to Merritt, not Kamloops, Penticton, Nelson, blah blah blah. And then I just stayed in a period of idle. Right? Quebec was a thing. I went to go see some
Yeah.
family, but like apart from that, it's just I don't know. I have oh wait, I was gonna talk about that too. Or actually, I'll let you explain Good Will Hunting, then I'll say something else after that. But yeah, no, I'd probably
Explain what?
Good Will Hunting.
Oh, I want to explain it
You were gonna talk about it.
a little bit, but I was just gonna say that you should watch it.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I will watch it.
It's quite good.
Yeah, 2024. You know what? 8 out of 10. Flat out.
Wow, really?
10.
That high?
I'm sorry, but I'm thinking about it more, and the whole faith journey was just peak.
Yeah.
It
That's a solid
genuinely
8.
changed me. I'm sorry, but yeah, those idle moments just don't compare.
Yeah.
I've been very open-minded to the faith, but I've also a little bit dealt into different religions to see what their reasoning and logic is for their faith, and to see what it compares to what the Bible teaches. And I'm not knowledgeable. Like you tell me, like Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, whatever. Like I can't tell you everything about their religions. I haven't studied it, but I know the basics. And the basics, right off the bat, don't convince me. But I'm not getting into that because we'll be here for hours.
Actually, many of the people like Allah, even like Buddha, even like the book that they read, like the Quran, that the Muslim faith reads with Allah or Muhammad. Those people,
We're frozen out, whatever.
it's fine. Those people actually, they regard Jesus as someone who is,
Okay.
You're just out of the frame a little bit. That's too bad.
Do you want me to, or do you want to move the
could
camera?
move
a
it
bit?
a little bit more toward you.
Hold on.
Just make sure it's center. Oh, see, it just didn't do anything. You didn't even move it. Here, I'll move it.
No. That's fine. I can sit like this, and I'm more in the frame. Because I don't want you to be out of frame either.
It's fine. So, but what's interesting is those figures that are like the messiahs of these different religions. They actually highly regard Jesus to be good.
Mm-hmm.
They say that he's a perfect man. They say that
that he lived a sinless life.
lived a sinless life, but they just don't think he's the Son of God. And what's interesting is, anyways, it's very interesting to see how those religions look at Jesus.
Can I share something?
Historically, I don't think there's one person that everyone can agree and have commonality on.
Like, I feel like the name of Jesus is so worldwidely known that to think he's just a fable, like a made up story or a moral life lesson or something like that, because a lot of people, let's say in the U.S., they view Jesus as a social example.
Yeah.
The Sermon on the Mount, they just view it as an example of how to live
Like
life.
Jordan Peterson.
They don't take into account the actual event that took place. Thousands of people were on the mountain and they heard Jesus speak.
Testimony.
His disciples were there with him too. And another thing, this is something that, so you know, in the Cliff Knechtley and Logan Paul podcast, right? We've seen the whole thing. It's awesome. Go watch it.
2 times I've watched it now.
I've seen it once. I kind of want to watch it again though. But anyways, what I liked, and this is interesting because Logan's friend Mike was there too.
Super cool guy.
Right? And so it was weird because I remember Logan dissing on the Christian faith for like a long time, and then he just randomly invites Cliff and Stewart on. Did not see that coming. No. But as soon as I heard about it, I was like, I need to go listen to this. I need to go see what's up. Logan was actually very honestly genuine. He didn't go on there. He didn't have them on the show so he could like make fun of them or rile them up. No, he had real questions. And what he asked is like, you know, what every other religion teaches, like, first of all, how do you know that Christianity is true? And second, how do you know like Jesus is the truth? And one thing that Mike pointed out is in most religions, Jesus actually exists.
Yeah.
Islam, Judaism, JWs, Buddhism, Jesus is a person that exists and is mentioned multiple times, and he's highly praised.
Highly praised, yeah.
Right? To give you a rundown of it, just very quickly what I know.
You're good.
Islam teaches that Jesus is not God, but a prophet, but they do think he's the Messiah and he lived a sinless life. Jews believe he's not the Messiah nor the Son of God, and they don't believe he was a very good prophet. JWs believe he's the Son of God, but that he's not God incarnated in flesh. Buddhists, to my knowledge, they believe that Jesus was just someone who talked to Buddha and gave him like some moral life lessons or whatever, or just like wisdom. I could be wrong on that. That's the one thing I don't know about, but I'm pretty sure Jesus does exist in Buddhism. The Bible, on the other hand, the New Testament, teaches that Jesus is the Messiah, Son of God, lived a sinless life, born of a virgin, and he's the Word that took on flesh.
Yeah.
And if we know anything about the Word of God, we know that the Word was in the beginning, right? John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was
God.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the Quran actually steals that too, because they call Jesus the Word of God in there, apparently.
Yeah. Well, the Quran is actually... Much of the Quran is basically the Bible.
No hate to that religion. It's just there's like I don't know,
very distinct similarities, 100%.
But there's a lot of plot holes in every other religion I just mentioned.
There is some things that I'm like, I think a big one with the Muslim faith, and again, it's not any disrespect. I think if you're a Muslim and you're watching this and you're like, I don't know, my biggest question for you is, it's my understanding that the belief of the Muslim faith is that. And I've actually been to different temples and things, and I've like,
you've been to a mosque?
I've been to a mosque. I've been to a Sikh temple. I've been to a Buddhist temple. This was actually during Life Teams, but from what I've gathered, my understanding is that there's a belief that it's the very similar to Christianity in the sense of we are not worthy, we're not God, and we are sin. We are sinful human beings, which means we have no chance of going to heaven.
What, these other religions?
We are not worthy of our own salvation, basically. It's like someone else has to do that for us. There's a similarity, right? But the issue is, I think, with the Muslim faith is that there's a belief that I need to earn that for myself.
It's very work based. Yeah.
I have to make sure that I'm working hard, doing good enough things, praying at specific times in the day enough so that I, have a chance of getting to heaven.
Yep.
But here's the interesting thing. I just mentioned the word a chance. There isn't actually much reassurance or hope or actual guarantee that you're going to make it to heaven. You're just hoping that you do enough that you might actually make it to heaven, but you have no real answer until you die.
See, here's the interesting thing, right? I've seen different I believe they're called like sheiks, like the Muslim like preachers and whatever, say that you treat Islam like what's it called? Like it's your whole lifestyle. It's a commitment and you have to work hard every single day. And I'm like, okay, so are you guaranteed salvation? Nope. You just have to work hard and hopefully Allah sees you and your good deeds outweigh your bad deeds and you enter into heaven. And I'm like, there's no reassurance behind there. And they're like, well, how do you know your salvation's guaranteed?
Through Jesus.
Well, for starters, through Jesus, right? And Paul, in Romans, I believe it's the start of chapter 8, he's just like, therefore there's no condemnations for those in Jesus Christ. Jesus himself says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. And he also says, like, he's like, my sheep are in my hands. No one can ever snatch them out. So it's like Jesus is clearly saying that you guys come to me and you put your faith in me. I got you. You will you'll never be let go of me. If you really want to come into my house, you're welcome anytime.
The banquet. Parable of the banquet.
Yeah. What banquet?
Jesus had a parable where he kind of was like, there's like this rich guy who was preparing a banquet, like a great feast, and he wanted to invite a bunch of his friends. And so he invited a bunch of his friends who were also rich. None of them came. Or all of them declined. The day came around and nobody showed up. And so he pretty much told his servants, he's like, okay, I want you guys to go out into the street and just invite whoever's out there. So they go and invite a whole bunch of people. There's still space. And so he's like, okay, I want you to go to the highways and the hedges outside of this neighborhood and invite people. And there's like, okay, and they go and invite all these people who are kind of more on the outskirts. So basically the idea is that there's always room in the Father's house, and he doesn't necessarily just want the righteous to come, because some of the righteous people, the rich people, think they're too busy or they're too proud for it, so they don't show up. Whereas all these other people who actually need it, who actually like care and like desperate for some of that, show up.
There's an analogy, and like, I mean, I'm pretty sure Jesus says this himself. Like, I've not come to call the righteous, but the
yeah. Well, he says, is it not?
But hold on, I was just gonna
sick that need a sorry.
But yeah, no, but there's the analogy that's like a hospital is designed for those who are sick, not for those who are healthy, right? You don't go into a shower because you're clean. You go into a shower to get clean. And there was another post I saw. It was like, like the certain post will have like 10 slides into like one post. It was something like, what was it like? David was a murderer. Elijah was a drunkard. Jonah ran from God. Moses had a stuttering problem. This and that. Peter denied Jesus. All this sort of stuff. And then at the end of the post, it was like, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called.
Wow.
And that completely just changed my view. Because like sometimes I'll literally be sitting in my house like, nah, I've got this whole thing wrong. God actually doesn't need me. He doesn't care for me. Right? Like he doesn't care for me. I'm being sold a lie. I'm trying to give myself good news, but it doesn't exist. And it's like, you're right. God doesn't need me. He can work just fine by himself. But for the purpose that he has for humanity, I'm convinced that he could use me, and I want him, like I want to be useful in terms of spreading that message. I want to help others. I mean, I recently I actually didn't tell you this, but when I was going to the island for New Year's, both ferry trips, my buddy and I, because I drove one of my friends there, we stayed in the car like the entire ferry ride, both trips. And I don't know how this got brought up, but we just started talking about the like Christianity and the faith, different religions, and he's more of an agnostic, right? So he's not dissing my faith. He's just rather like, I'm uncertain of your truth, but I'm willing to hear you out. So he had a very open mind. And for like an hour and a half, like both times, it was very clear that he's someone that I can talk to about this. And I wasn't trying to shove it down his throat. I said, hey man, I don't want you to feel pressured. If you want to stop talking about this at any point, just let me know. And he said, you're good, keep going. And I reassured him, like, I'm not trying to sell you the gospel. I'm not trying to say, pick it now or else you're screwed. No, I'm just like, this is why I believe what I believe. What do you think? And it kind of went back and forth. And I don't know, right? From that point on, like all I can know is I planted a seed and I'm going to let the Spirit do the rest of the work. And if he's willing to talk to me more about it, great. But if he chooses not to, that's his choice, right? We can't save anybody.
Yeah.
In fact, God can't save those who don't want to be saved.
Yeah.
It's their will.
Yeah. No, that's really true. I think one thing, I'm actually doing a sermon tomorrow, which is crazy. You should come actually. We're doing
You're preaching here?
No.
Oh.
Well, yes, but not on a Sunday, like not on like a church. Preaching. I'm doing a worship night. We're doing a worship night with a couple other young adult groups.
Oh, so you're not doing like the Sunday morning service?
No.
Oh,
but
okay.
There's like a worship night in the evening.
If you do though, I'm for sure coming to that.
Yeah. Well, you
See
should come
Pastor
tonight.
Cole.
You should come tomorrow night.
Tomorrow
I'll
night.
be preaching tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll tell you after. But the passage that I'm going to talk about this reminds me exactly of something you said earlier. Just this idea that, yes, we're not qualified, but we've actually been called to partner with Jesus in his ministry, right? To, the Great Commission, to go and spread the word, to go and spread the gospel, to preach the good news to the people of this earth. And I think a passage that really stands out to me when I think about just the invitation that we have from Jesus, it's this one. It says, it's in John 15, verse, it's like 15 to 17, or 14 to 17, it says, you are my friends if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants. For a servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all things that I heard from my Father I have made known to you. And you did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you, that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain, and that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. These things I command you, that you love one another.
What's verse 18?
If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
No, I was like 15. I'm pretty sure 18 is that verse, but
Yeah.
But okay, and I want to touch on that verse 18. Like the 14 to 17 is good as well, calling us friends, which is a crazy thing to do considering a king calls his creation his friends.
Yeah.
He's our Lord and Savior, but he's our friend.
And even that follow-up of like, he chose us before we even choose him.
Right? And the reason I asked you for verse 18 is because a lot of times, like I've seen a lot of Christian preachers go to like rallies and stuff where like the gospel message is basically considered like I guess offensive or something like that. And if the world hates you, just remember it hated me first. Like what I've noticed.
There's two things in that, but yes.
But what I've noticed, I'm like, why does it feel so hard? Because I was wondering this for a while. I'm like, why does it feel so hard to preach the gospel if it's literally like the whole point of the gospel is like, repent of your sins and believe and you will be saved, and there's a great treasure waiting at the end of the road, and there's a God that loves you and he died for your sins. Why is that so hard to grasp? And I'm like, because the world, in quotation marks, right, Satan's domain, whatever you want to call it, the world believes two things. They believe either,
We're so off track.
oh no, for
It's
sure.
actually insane. Yeah, we keep going, keep going.
But like the world believes either they are God or that there's no real, like there's no real morale out there. There's no consequence, and so
Yeah.
they don't care. And a lot of people are too prideful to repent. We're for sure getting off track, but
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I think my last thing would be on that to just kind of close up the formal or the world hates me part. But what did Jesus do when he was being tortured and whipped and mocked? What did he say? What did he do?
well, pretty sure when he was hung on that cross.
No, I'm talking about during the prosecution. Like when he was being whipped,
Is it
when he
the
was being mocked.
Father
openly.
forgive them? Is it
No,
that
no,
one or the
that
one?
part's at the end when he was crucified. But even then, that's a good thought.
I don't remember what he said. I'm gonna
He
be
did
honest.
nothing. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything.
He just took it.
He just said, "I'm the son. I'm just the son. I'm the Lord." And so the problem I have with people who go out and go to those rallies, one, the rally is probably very specific toward an issue, that Christians very openly have, spoken against, things like abortion, things like LGBTQ rights, which I'm not saying that, I would side with the world in that. But what I am saying is I think I've seen clips of Christians who will go to those places and will openly kind of like very, very actively, aggressively seek out these almost debates.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is they get hated on for the gospel, but then they respond angrily. These people who are trying to preach the gospel, they respond aggressively, they respond angrily, and they're not really, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but Jesus didn't do that. The gospel itself didn't do that, and so we are not to be treating the gospel that way. Does that make sense?
Well, Jesus was calmer because, number one, he actually knew his plan. We don't really know our own plans. Like, you might have a plan to say, I'm going to go to this riot over here, or this rally that's not talking at all about Christianity. And I'm going to throw the gospel in these people's faces and hope they say yes instantaneously. That never happens.
Doesn't
Right?
work.
That doesn't happen. And if they reject it, you actually have no right to get angry.
No.
Because you're barging in there with your own set of morals and the gospel truth. And you have to understand that if these people are clearly supporting something that is against,
It's like you're asking for opposition if you're going to walk
Exactly.
into a place like that.
which is why I like it whenever street preachers say, like, okay, if you have a question, ask me and I'll answer it.
That's why I like Cliff.
Cliff, who's another one? I don't know. I mean, even Charlie Kirk as well. Do you know who Charlie Kirk is? He's more well known for like Republican politics.
Oh,
but
is he the guy? I think he might be the guy that I'm talking about.
But he's very like.
Can you show me a photo of Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, sure. He's hit or miss. Like sometimes he responds very calmly and it's like very appropriate. Other times it kind of feels like he's trying to stir up wrath, which is why sometimes he's hit or miss.
Because I have seen a guy whenever I see a clip of him, I'm always skeptical. I don't really like. Yeah, that's the guy I'm thinking of.
In my opinion, he's hit or miss. Like he doesn't just talk about the gospel. He talks about, like, let's say abortion. He talks about college being a scam.
Like, I find with those specifically, he's very, I would say, like, somewhat aggressive.
He's passive aggressive.
Yeah.
He's for sure passive aggressive. He's done like probably a couple of these where he sits in the middle of a circle with like 25 liberal students and they all just challenge him on his claims. Right? So abortion's murder, and then a bunch of people challenge him. College is a scam, a bunch of people challenge him, right? And these are all like kids that are probably below the age of 24.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe 24. Anyways, but like his style is okay sometimes. I like Cliff's style because he's very patient.
He's very patient.
And he's very humble, and he says, guys, what I'm telling you right now is that the gospel message is true. Don't take my word for it, though. Go read it for yourself
Yeah.
and make up your mind.
That I love.
He always invites people to read it for themselves. I
Don't
love
listen to me.
that.
Don't listen to me. I'm not Jesus. I'm not the gospel. Listen to the gospel.
Right?
Go read it.
Like go read the accounts. And
That's so good.
Who's another one? I don't know, but
Yeah, we should move on. What? Okay, we have about 15 minutes.
we don't have to worry about time. It's fine.
I have to go to bed tonight.
Yeah, same here.
Sorry?
Same here. But
Yeah.
you don't hear me complaining.
Okay, so New Year. Let's do like
That's quite a jump.
three hopes, goals, aspirations, 3 things that you're just like 2025. I'm excited. I'm ready. I think I have some of mine already.
I have a couple too. Who wants to go first?
I can go. So I think, right off the bat, heading back to school, Pacific Life Bible College, going for pastoral leadership, which I'm super stoked for. Mr. Rempel will be my teacher. He's actually one of our active listeners. It's gonna be.
I have a funny story about him,
It's
but
gonna be really weird
keep going.
actually to have one of my listeners be also my teacher, but it's gonna be good. I'm excited. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. Other than the grind that it will be, but it's gonna be good.
How long is the program?
So the degree I'm going for is like an associate, so it's like a 2-year
Okay.
approximately.
Is that for like a is that for a certificate
It's
or
like a diploma,
or diploma? Okay.
but I'm planning to go for a full bachelor's probably, but I'm just enrolled in a diploma right now. So, but yeah, so that's really exciting. So I mean, I guess my hope with that is that honestly that I could just learn more about the Bible. I could learn more about ministry and like faith. Because yeah, I'm not just going so I can like have the credentials, but I'm going because I'm also like
Because you're passionate.
I'm passionate about it and
Yeah.
I just want to learn more. So I'm really excited for that. I would say another I guess another goal has been like, even though I am pretty confident, there are moments where I sometimes feel I'm not always confident, or I like will often take the easy way out of like conversations.
Mhm.
So like, I don't know, like on a Sunday morning, if someone's trying to have like a conversation with me and I'm like, I don't really want to have this conversation right now, I'll just kind of like stop it. Whereas I could actually just stand there and like, or I could go deeper with this person who's probably interested in like talking to me. So things like that. Just being more confident about like conversation and about just like asking good questions and being more intentional about that. Another thing would probably end up being, yeah, I don't know what my third one would be. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back.
Well, think about that. I'll jump in for a moment. First thing is very straightforward: school.
Okay.
Now, like I said earlier, I'm on a wait list for BCIT, but I'm almost at the point where I'd rather just wait another year for that and go to, like you said, PLBC for the Bible Foundation course, like the Life Launch you mentioned. Because quite frankly, my biggest fear with my own faith and talking to other people about it is I'm afraid of running into a dead end where it feels like I don't have an answer to their question, or I run into a question where it feels like it's a checkmate and I'm wrong and they're right and I should just immediately leave the Christian faith because it's illogical. So I guess like my prayer for that is just I hope that I first of all read more and do more research so that I'm more prepared for these kinds of conversations. And I think one way to do that is to take that Life Launch course. I think I'm going to apply. I'll probably apply for that soon enough.
Nice.
The second one is, I guess, just read more, right? Read my Bible more. Oh, I never talked about that. Okay, I'll talk about that in a sec. What was I going to say? Yeah, I just read more, or I'll say it now actually. So when I was in Victoria for New Year's, I came across this random video on Instagram and it was like, so 2025 is here. You know what that means? And I was on the verge of just swiping past the video, but I'm very glad I stayed. Because what this guy said was pretty interesting. He was like, so 2025 is here. You know what that means? Proverbs. And I'm like, okay, what about Proverbs? And he goes, Proverbs has 31 chapters. January has 31 days. You read one proverb per day, right? A chapter per day. You'll get through the whole book in the first month of 2025. And I was like, wait, Proverbs, that's a book about wisdom. I'm like, that's a really great way to start the year off.
Wow.
So we're 4 days into January. I'm 4 chapters into Proverbs.
Let's go.
So I'm keeping this plan to read Proverbs throughout the whole month.
I might join you on that.
Yeah, but Proverbs is actually a really good book. I'm like I said, 4 chapters in, but like,
We got some catching up to do, but yeah.
but like, there's a lot of wisdom right off the bat. And I was reading some of the stuff, going like, I think some of this might actually apply to my life. Yeah. Like a bit of like I got like some sort of like what do you call it, conviction from reading it a little bit, but it's not like I might feel guilty, but I'm like, this is also good
it's good to read. Yeah,
like this is what God is telling me is what it feels like.
Yeah.
So this is like some ways to change my life.
Awesome.
Another thing as well is
proverb a day keeps the devil away. Oh wait,
you should coin that.
Dude, a proverb a day keeps the devil away. It might be a thing already. Maybe that's why I thought of it. But
if it's not, you should definitely coin that.
The proverb a day keeps the doctor.
So school, just more reading and research. I want to be, like I said, prepared for like questions and answers in the future.
Yeah.
Something on the side is I'm trying to make the gym become more of a habit. I'm trying to become jacked, if you know what I mean. So,
yeah, because you're not jacked at all. You're pretty weak.
No, I'm like a stick bug underneath. But,
Yeah.
you know, hopefully we'll work on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hopefully this year can be better than last year. Not that last year was terrible, but I'm looking forward to further develop my sense of adventure, whatever that means.
Dude, let's go to Kamloops.
No, but seriously, I want to go on the Coquihalla in the snow. That's like peak time to go.
Sounds awesome, dude.
It's gonna be awful if there's semi trucks.
Can you even handle the mountains and stuff with that thing?
On my car? Yeah.
In the snow?
Yeah.
You think it's not gonna get stuck? Not gonna slip and slide?
Well, last year I went to work and 30 minutes later we were told to leave the shop because they were gonna close the bridges. And my coworker's like, hey, so they closed the Alex Fraser Bridge. Spoiler alert, they didn't. He just doesn't know how to read a map. It took us 2 hours to get back home because we drove through Burnaby and New West. And there was a giant hill on, I think it was Kingsway. And that poor car just barely made it at the top of the hill.
I don't know if the Coquihalla is
but it worked. It worked.
But you realize that if you get stuck in the
top.
Coquihalla, there's nothing.
Well, hear me out. The reason I say it barely made it up the hill is because I remember this very well. The front tires, because the car's front wheel drive, the front tires had less tread than the rears. I've swapped that.
Oh.
So my front tires are stronger than the rears. That's where all the power goes to from the engine, from the drivetrain. So I'm like, wait a sec, the front tires have more. And if I just take it easy, right? It's a manual. I just have to put it in a higher gear and the tires won't slip as much.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the Coquihalla been plowed to some extent. I don't think it's 3 feet of snow.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's definitely the roads are definitely clear, but yeah, it is sketchier though. Yeah.
I don't know. I want this year to be better for me in terms of reading, school, spiritually, but also I want to drive places. I'm just like that.
That's actually,
I might be weird for that,
no,
but
that's a sick goal. No, that's not weird at all.
Okay, I'm going back to that last point you wanted to make. Have you thought of it now?
No.
Bro is stumped.
You'll get the girl. No. Not get a girl. That's definitely not a top 3. That's a top 2. No.
I'll probably get a girlfriend when I'm 30. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I've actually been looking though for you.
What do you mean?
Like I've been thinking about, I wonder if this girl, like, who would be a good fit for Johnny or Johnny
Are
Boy.
you actually trying to hook me up with someone?
No, I don't have anyone yet, but I'm looking. If I see someone, I'm gonna hook you up, bro.
That's funny.
No,
You realize
no.
I'm gonna run away.
Yeah,
I'm actually afraid of
you're
women.
you're definitely gonna screw it up.
Like
That's why I have to.
women are
that's why I have to be
terrifying.
careful who I find. I have to find someone who's really.
You realize how challenging that is? You have to find someone who can handle this complete radioactive like ball of energy that is me.
If you're watching, and you're like, man, this guy's a fine gentleman.
I can act the part sometimes, but like
Yeah.
anyways.
No, I think a third goal would probably be either like getting out and doing stuff more, even though I'm already kind of doing that.
hiking.
Hiking would be a big one. That or probably to just continue to build the ministry here at Lighthouse. Yeah, that'd be my biggest one.
My lighthouse, shining through the darkness. No, but
All right.
seriously.
Yeah, I think in terms of closing.
Oh man, we're at the end already. I was having so much fun.
Oh man. Yeah, actually, I was having a lot of fun too. Yeah, but
Wait, what's the time at?
we're at like 40 something. I can't read it. Why?
I'm just curious.
Basically 43. 43.
Basically, be our average times, but
Yeah, it's our average episode. But two big things. One, we have our next topic. Like we
Right.
mentioned this in the last episode, but apprenticeship to Jesus.
Yep.
That is going to be our next topic. We are kind of slacking a bit, but we're working on it.
I've written some notes.
I've written some notes as well, like maybe like a line or two. But on top of that, in February, we are going to have a guest episode.
I'm so looking forward to that.
We're going to go to Winnipeg, and we are going to one of my good buddies. His name is Jareth, who Jonathan hasn't met yet, but I know they're going to get along very well.
I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to have him come on, and we're going to do a little podcast episode with him. So we're super stoked. Super excited for that. And we're just looking forward to being able to, one, go do a podcast episode in a completely different province in Canada. But two, just to have a guest on. We haven't had a guest on yet, so I think that's going to be really, really exciting. So, yeah. So, I guess thank you for watching.
Yeah, I guess in a nutshell, 2024 was good. Not perfect, but it was definitely good. It was definitely internally life-changing for me. And I have a lot of memorable moments in the sense of adventure. And honestly, just here's to this year, right? We're right at the start, but I have a lot more that I want to do than I just mentioned. Is it too sweet?
It's really sweet. I keep drinking it because sugar is addicting. But
Can I have a sip? Like if you just take the screw off, or I want to see firsthand just how sweet this is. Is it really that hard? Okay. Okay, I can smell the
Yeah.
like insane. Would you say sucralose is in this thing?
it's sugar.
There's like 1,000 ingredients. I'm already scared. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that is That's way sweeter than I thought it would be. Okay, never mind. I understand. Yeah, and I got him that bottle as a surprise, so next time I might get something with a little less sugar.
Yeah, maybe don't get this again. Yeah.
It's Sunny D. It's a popular brand. Anyways,
Yeah, this means good. Yeah, but thank you guys for watching the podcast. We'll see you guys in episode
not 10.
10.
We're gonna be on 10.
Double digits is nuts.
We're gonna the apprenticeship is gonna be the first double digit.
Yes, that's right.
Hopefully, another thing that I hope for this year is more consistent uploads.
Yes.
Depending on how our schedule
Hopefully,
looks.
hopefully at least once a month we'll aim for.
Yeah,
But
seems realistic.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys very, very soon.
See you in the next
Peace out.
episode. Take care. And here's to 2025.
Peace 2025.
Here they go with this metronome. Oh my god. Yabbity booby doo baba doo boop. Boop boop. A shooby dabba doo boop. Doo boop. A yabba dabba doo boop. Dooba doo boop. Shababa doo boop. Doo boop. Yeah. Yabba dabba. Yabba da bop. Yabba dabba. What? Ooh. A yabba dabba.